for coming. Thank you so much. Hey, why are you so far away?
The machine will get you.
You are very far. Good morning, and thank you for being here. I'm passing through Uganda for a few days to visit my husband, Dr. Kiiza Besigye, in Luzira Prison. I'm on my way back now. I visited him 2 times. I am angry at his situation. Dr. Kiiza Besigye is 69 years old. He was abducted in November from Kenya. That was a breach of international law and national law. Brought across the border and thrown before the military court. He's a civilian. We challenged that in court. The Supreme Court ruled that he should not be tried. No one should be tried. No one who's a civilian should be tried by the military. He was not released. There was an order to transfer his matter before the civilian courts, but he had first to go on hunger strike because he was being held with no charge before his case was brought before the civilian courts. It's 6 months now. He has applied for bail. He has been denied bail. He has now applied for mandatory bail. It's a right. He's been in jail for more than 180 days, and the courts are playing games and will not give it to him. Every rule in the book seems to be broken when it comes to Dr. Kiiza Besigye. His rights as a human being are being violated. In the prison where he is, this is a man who's 69. He is locked up in a tiny cell that has a little kamori. Up, doesn't bring in enough light. He's only allowed into a small space that's about a half of this size. This small area we are in, it is concrete, cement. There are no chairs there. That small place is where they eat from, where they cook from. About 15 other prisoners there with him. The 15 others are suspected to be terrorists, to be from ADF. They have denied that. Some of them have been in that prison for more than 10 years. 10 years. They've never been in court. They were just dumped there and forgotten there. Those are the prisoners he's with, all on remand, some for 10 years. He cannot go to the other spaces where other prisoners are, like when they are going to pray, the church, even on Christmas Day. He couldn't join other prisoners to pray. He cannot, they get some entertainment, other prisoners. He cannot go anywhere he has to go in the prison. He's accompanied by 2 guards. The 2 guards have to make sure that Dr. Besigye doesn't speak to any other prisoner. He is not allowed. Recently, something funny even happened. The guard was guarding him while he's talking to his visitors. Then the guard wanted to go to the toilet, and he stopped the conversation with the visitor and took him with him to accompany him to the toilet, and then returned him to continue talking with his visitor, because he cannot leave him alone in the prison just in case he might talk to another prisoner. He had to escort the guard to the toilet. That is how tightly controlled he is. Dr. Besigye has been in this tiny cell, and now he has been attacked by bed bugs. Bed bugs are biting him night and day. It is inhuman what they are doing to him. It is violation of his rights, his human rights, violation of the laws of Uganda. But now I want to emphasize, underline that Dr. Besigye is not there because he stole anything, he was corrupt, he's accused of corruption, or he owes a debt, or he murdered someone. No, he's there for political reasons. He's being criminalized, not the first time. He's being criminalized because he has challenged and has put forward himself as a candidate in elections. And we are in election time. If it was just about him personally, it would be bad enough. But the fact that it's political, and he's not the only one, that many other political activists are also languishing in jail there, makes it a matter for everyone. It's a political question. It's about contestation. It's about whether or not Ugandans are allowed to have different points of view, to choose their leaders, to field whoever they want. That is the issue. That is why Dr. Besigye is there. I am angry because as my family member, he's being persecuted. He's being denied bail. I'm demanding for bail for him. Our lawyers are. We want the matter of his bail to be heard, and heard soon, and he needs to be back home in healthy conditions, in human conditions, as he answers that case that is framed against him. Let me also say that on the political side, without being partisan, I am not talking for the opposition, I'm not talking for the government, I'm just speaking as a Ugandan. We need a predictable, transparent, democratic process to change leadership. We have a leader who is a historic figure. He's been there for 40 years. He did great things. He turned this country around when we were having horrible elections. Our economy was sinking. He challenged that. We followed him. And we turned the country around. We did. Some people want to say to rewrite the history. They are wrong. We did. We restored many things. We had a process that brought us a new constitution, a consultative process. We empowered people through LCs. We were calling them RCs. We brought women, youth, people with disabilities into political process to participate, have a voice. The economy was turned around. We arrived here when there was no sugar in the shops, nothing. Brought back Indians, restored manufacturing, and many good things happened. But today, we are back in a political stalemate. And my plea to President Museveni is that he rises again. He's an old man. He can protect his legacy, the good things he did, by securing a transitional process, leading a transitional process that brings us to new leadership peacefully. We don't deserve violent elections again. We don't want to go back to 1980, but that's where we have gone. So my plea to President Museveni is, talk to your opposition, don't criminalize them, talk to them. My plea is, restore us to the rule of law and the democratic path. Ensure a free and fair election. These things are not hard. Now, I want to say that if we do not do this, The real victims of a flawed political process, a violent political process, are our young people. Today, they are the ones who really break my heart. When I see thousands, my own nephews and nieces, children I know, or the young people I see on the streets expressing their frustration, they are out there without a future. Unemployment amongst our young people up to the age of 24 who are university graduates is at 83%. 83% of them are without a job and without a future. Every year, Uganda puts into the market 700,000 young people. Out of those, only 90,000 get jobs. The rest don't know what is there for them. Suspended future. How can we change this if we do not have a way to bring in leaders who are serious, who have a plan for how to create jobs for our young people? If we must hang on and in uncertainty, who is going to keep investing in this economy? We are seeing money leaving our country. I was in Kenya the other day. I was so shocked to hear in the real estate market that Ugandans are now the leading investors in real estate in Kenya. By the way, Dr. Kiiza Besigye has, I don't think it's ever happened before that there is a case, a criminal case against someone, and there's such a huge team of lawyers offering themselves for free, pro bono, to defend an individual charged with a criminal case. I don't think it's ever happened. There are more than 50 Ugandan lawyers who have offered themselves and are fighting this case. They are joined by lawyers from the region. They keep coming each time he's appearing, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from even as far as the Comoros. There are international lawyers behind this case, international human rights organizations putting themselves forward to support him, to fight his case, because they see the injustice of it and they see the political implications for Uganda and even for the region. So there's a lot of interest and a lot of support. He has applied for bail twice, and each time they are deflecting, and we know why. President Museveni himself has said openly that he must not be given bail. So the judges are interested in justice, but at the same time they think about their careers, because they are also appointed through a system that President Museveni influences. So they are unable to deliver justice, and so they keep deflecting. So, but I'm saying now it's too much. This is unacceptable. You can't have a man who's 69 years old, who is being held in, it's some kind of solitary confinement, because he's not allowed to talk to any other prisoners. He's not allowed to socialize with them, even to pray with them. And now he's been attacked by bed bugs. He's being bitten by bed bugs, and he has a right to bail. This is violation. This is undermining his health. This is humiliating him. This is persecution. It must stop. It must stop. Buying up apartments, why? Because they don't feel confident. They are uncertain about the future here. Money is going out. Our civil servants, people in the public offices, are stealing more and more. The corruption is going up because also of uncertainty about the future. Investments are not coming in. Civil servants are stealing. I'm not saying the only reason is because of uncertainty, but certainly it drives the desire to divert resources. Corruption is costing us $2.5 billion every year. $2.5 billion. It's estimated that 25% of our national budget is diverted in corruption, taking services away from people, health, education. So we are at a moment where we need to break out of this cycle of bad politics, slower growth, rising unemployment, rising corruption, impunity because all these people are part of a patronage system and cannot be touched. So we have impunity for corruption. So we need to break out of that. And it is leadership that will help us. It is President Museveni who can help us to change that. And I appeal to him. Free Dr. Besigye, free your political opponents, talk to them, dialogue with them, reform the laws, ensure a process of changing leaders that will secure your legacy. That is what I want to say. I want to then also talk about HIV/AIDS and say,
I would imagine that you have the connections. People were once, you know, President Museveni very well, you have quite a lot of leadership. Have you, at a personal level, tried to initiate talks, or have you tried to approach his contemporaries to talk to him? Because I see there have been a lot of appeals to the media, but are there other mechanisms of you trying to get to the president? And then
thank you for your question. You're right that Besigye's imprisonment is political. He has not committed a crime. He's really there for political reasons. This is about the contest, about the political transition. So it needs to be solved politically. The courts will not solve it. The courts are being used to keep him in prison. And you can see that since they arrested him up to now, it's 6 months, they've not even been able to try him. They've been investigating endlessly. Yes, I have talked to some people who are in the executive branch and encouraged them to have a political dialogue. I have talked to some. And I also see that there are many governments that are also trying to encourage President Museveni to find a political solution and not to criminalize. So, yes, we are trying. We are going to keep arguing for urging President Museveni to have a dialogue and not to criminalize, not just Dr. Besigye, all other political prisoners, and there are many.
Thank you very much. My name is Jackson Nyamba. I work for NTV. Yes, we're talking about political dialogue, and you have said this is actually political persecution. So my question would be, what should be the shape and nature of this dialogue? Because we know in the past.
Well, what's important is it doesn't matter the form, really. It can take any form, but it's important that a dialogue sets clear objectives. Why the dialogue? We need a dialogue because we have slipped off the democratic path. We made a constitution, we have electoral laws, but they've continued to change the constitution, change the electoral laws in ways that have led to this kind of violence, and actually we're moving away from the rule of law. We don't even respect the rules we make. So we need to have a dialogue to restore us on the path of on some reforms that will make elections truly fair and able to deliver the outcomes of people that people want, to reflect the will of the people. We need to have a discussion around the role of the military and the security forces in elections, because much of the violence is driven by the security agencies. We need to have a dialogue regarding the use of money and bribery in elections. These are the things that fail us from choosing the leaders we need and result in instability. So having clear objectives is important, and having a process that is facilitated neutrally. I mean, this is would take some humility and trust on the part of President Museveni and his NRM party to trust some neutral facilitation, and to be humble enough to admit that we need help to have a good dialogue. That you can't be the one who is controlling the dialogue, then there's no trust from your opposition. So these are some of the things you need to have. But it all will take courage on the part of the president, and a genuine understanding that the positive things he has done can only be protected and taken forward when the process of replacing him is free and fair and predictable. Otherwise, if it's a forced and an illegitimate way of replacing him, we will fall back into more and more chaos. It won't be a solution. The Besigye I know is open to dialogue. Why? Because he's a Democrat. And he has put himself out, dedicated himself to this struggle to give Ugandans a fair chance to choose their leaders, and he has been fighting on a democratic agenda of fighting poverty, achieving equality. So if there's dialogue, why won't he come to the table? Of course he would come to the table. But as I said, the dialogue needs to be intentional and needs to be credible, and that's the kind of dialogue we are asking for.
Well, maybe lastly from me is, to what extent has this incarceration broken his spirit? Because I know you've interfaced with him more closely than any of us. We know that this, we look at the new this guy. Has he changed? Is he willing?
I've met him twice this week. I went to see him on Monday. I saw him on Wednesday, and indeed I've been here just to see him for a few days. Besigye will not break. His spirit will not break. He's a person who is, by his nature, a very determined person and very purposeful. He thinks, he decides what he wants to do, and he goes for it, and he's always ready to pay the price for what he believes is just and right. So he's not broken. In fact, people who visit him say that he motivates them, that's what I found. I found him, he's worried about his situation. He's not enjoying it, definitely not. He's worried about his condition, but definitely still resolute and asserting his innocence and ready to defend himself. I'm sorry I didn't make you a cup of tea today.
It's okay.
I will do it next time, I promise.
In a month's time.
In a month's time, I'll give up.
Well,